Another car just arrived, the 2002 Mercedes S55, naturally aspirated M113 V8 AMG. This here is a local Ohio car about to receive the Gold Element Autoworks treatment. I'm removing the ABC active body control suspension and installing Yellow Speed Racing adjustable coilovers. It is a more reliable, stable suspension, getting rid of the unreliable active body control. It continues to fail and gives this customer problems, so I'm getting rid of it. Also, you can see the headlights. These headlights are yellow. He has some aftermarket headlights that we're going to install and get right. Update the car, give it a nice fresh look. I like the chrome staggered AMG wheels, monoblocks. I like that. He had them chrome plated. I think they originally are silver in this case, and he had them sent out of the state to get them chromed. So it's a nice look, classic look. Yep. So Gold Element Autoworks is always working. Cars are always getting converted. That's just what it is, guys. As these systems start to age, you have to consider, should I continue to put money in an always failing hydraulic fluid suspension or convert over to adjustable coilovers? Well, customers are doing what they're doing, and it's making sense. And I'm here to support you. In this case, Yellow Speed Racing, adjustable coilovers, and I also offer the Silver's Neo Max. For the W220, this is the only one that fits. Yellow Speed Racing is what I recommend. And this is the AMG setup, so it has a more stiffer spring, higher spring rate. So this is what I prefer. This is what I recommend. If you have a W220, you want that coilover suspension taken care of, let me know. Brandon Green, owner of Gold Element Autoworks. Give me a call. More content on the way. Keep watching. Okay, so I know this looks real chaotic right now because it is chaotic. Mercedes up and down the street and all through the driveway and garage. Anyways, this is a 2002 S55 Mercedes. This right here is receiving adjustable coilovers. I am pulling out the ABC struts and installing Yellow Speed Racing adjustable coilovers. Also, I'm doing a headlight job on this car. These headlights are busted, they're faded, and he bought some new ones, and so I will be installing those as well. So I have a lot of work to do. Right now, I have a 560 SEC that I just picked up. In that car, I had to take it over to the title place to get it switched over. I got it from out of town, from Kentucky, and so I have to now get an inspection and get it transferred to my name here in Ohio. So I have to move some cars around and then get this one loaded into the garage so that I can go ahead and start taking it apart. So always a lot of work to do. This right here is a 2004 S55, and so I've done a lot of work to this one to get it up and running. This is another video. I'll talk about this one later, but it is running. The suspension is wonky. It is an ABC. It does act funny when you drive it. It'll like drop suddenly in the front. It raises back up, it responds, but the red light comes on. So likely I would say the valve block right here in the front is probably failing. And so it's not going to be able to maintain pressure. The pump itself does provide the necessary pressure. It does recover, but it does continue to drop. It could be the strut itself. It also could be the front left strut, but whatever it is, I think it's the valve block. Just looking at the history of how it's been acting, I say it's the valve block. It needs to be rebuilt, but I don't care about all that crap. All that stuff is coming out because you know what I do. So another job today that I have to get started on. So let me do what I need to do. And this video will pick back up here in a little bit. 2002 Mercedes S55, naturally aspirated V8 AMG motor. All right, guys, so I'm working on the 2002 S55 AMG coilovers. This is the Yellow Speed Racing. I already removed the two front ABC struts. They're pretty easy, straightforward. The bottom has like an Allen screw, and you remove that from the ball joint on the lower control arm. Try to work that carefully. Don't strip that little screw. It's two screws. Don't strip it, because if you do, now you have some work ahead of you trying to get that screw out. Sometimes I've seen these before with Loctite on it, so it requires a Allen key. What size? Let's see. 5 millimeter. See that? All right. So get that out of there. It's a real fine threaded bolt. I've also seen where people have used like an aftermarket bolt of some sort, something similar to this, but the right thread to go in there. It makes it easier to get it out. You don't have to use the same one if you have a different one that's more, I guess, less likely to strip, more likely to be able to get out easily without stripping or damaging the threads on this or this. I hate when these right here strip out and then you have to, oh God, grind it out. It's all types of, then you have to rethread this. I mean, it's just a mess. Now, this is, of course, the aftermarket coilover, so you don't have to do this, but the original strut, the ABC strut sitting over there is what I'm referring to. When it gets stuck in there, I've seen some damage have to be done to that ABC strut to get that out of there. All right, so use the right tools and be careful. Very easy to do, very straightforward. This one is already done, driver's side. With the front, it doesn't matter. But make sure you insert these dampening dials. The rear, now I know on the S-Class you might have some room in the front, in the rear windshield to put this in after the installation of the coilover. But I know on the CL you do not have room. So you have to install this in the top of the strut before you install it. They do not come with them installed. They come separate in the bag. So make sure you put those in there. I say put it in there before you install it just so that you don't forget. So lengthwise, you have to adjust these yourself. They don't come with the proper length. The front are already together out the box. You still have to adjust the length. The rear comes in two pieces. You have to put them together. So it's a guessing game as to how to adjust them. So I haven't done the Yellow Speed Racing in years. I'm talking about probably 8 years. So this is going to be kind of experimental for me. I do want to show you some type of measurement though. Hold on. So this side, I'm guessing, right? So this side, I measured it. It already came preloaded, the spring preloaded, the collar's already set, it's already tight. So from that collar, this part right here, I measured 2.5 down to the lower body, which is right here, the black, right there. You see where the 2.5 is? The top of this right here, of this body, up to this collar right here is what I measured, 2.5, and that's what I installed down here. So that was my starting point. It looks good. Now I had the other side raised up, so this gap is slightly altered, but it looks good from what I did. So the rear has not dropped all the way yet. But I think, because if that rear is lowered, this is going to change what the front looks like. But right there, it's kind of like in a good height, at a good height where I can kind of gauge, like this might be the good height right here. So that's what I did. Now this is the front. I will have to update you with the rear, what my settings are, but that's how I'm starting off. Just like this. This is how I'm starting off. All right. I'll go back in after I see how the car sits and then make any kind of adjustments. I will loosen these up and then twist this body right here to increase or decrease length. Measure both sides, front and right, left and right, the same before install. So pre-install, make sure they're measured exactly the same. So if you have to make adjustments on one, you know how to make adjustments on the other. If I go 1 inch or down inch on this one, same thing with the other one. All right, so make them identical before installation. I'll do the same thing with the rear. The rear is so long, they're like very long. So we'll see how to adjust those, but I'll update. But this is, again, on a 2002 Mercedes S55. This is how I'm pre-measuring it. Very easy. Remove the top 3 bolts. Those are 13 millimeter. And remove the screw like these right here. It pops right off of the lower control arm. And you can disconnect the quick connect. Look, quick connect, because it's not always quick. In this case, I cut it. I don't have time for that crap. I was going to cap them. I don't have time. I cut them and then kept them in the upright position, so hopefully they don't leak too much. Yeah, so we'll see what I run into in the rear. But let me go ahead and install this one. This is very straightforward. The front is very easy. The rear might be a little more involved, but we'll see. Just because I have to go into the rear deck and remove like a fake speaker cover, you get access to the top of the strut. And then down below in the rear, after the lower control arm, remove the bolt that runs on the inner part of the lower control arm and the bolt that runs through the strut, drop that down, and I think I should be able to pull that strut out. We'll see. All right, more content on the way. Be patient. I learned as I learn, you learn. As me learn, you learn. All right. So the front is done on both sides. Now the rear. So again, you remove that little speaker cover back there. Kind of hard to see right now, but you can see it right here. remove that speaker cover. Then it exposes 3 13mm nuts on top of the struts. Loosen those. You can drop it. You can remove the nuts altogether because you still have the ABC line that's going to keep tension on the strut, so it's not going to drop completely. And then also the lower control arm, like I said, you remove a 18mm nut. The bolt itself has a star bit to it, like a 12-point 18mm. Goes in this way, like this. Nut side is the rear side. The bolt head goes forward to the front of the vehicle. And you remove the 21mm bolt and nut combination. At some point it was at an angle and I was still spinning it. So it created some, I guess some drag, which messed up the thread. I tried to run this back on and I realized that it was going to be hard to go back on and kind of strip the threading of the nut a little bit. So I'll have to rethread that. I don't think I have another one of these bolts, but I'll double check. I know I have several of these nuts, but I'll figure out the best routine or the best route to go. This is really a routine technique, but I hate that I did that. That was kind of stupid. Just being neglectful, and instead of keeping it straight, spinning it too many times once it was kind of wedged in there, and so it caused that. So gotta be careful with that. You don't want to cross thread these important bolts. That bolt right there holds the strut in place. It's pretty straightforward. Jack the car up high enough to droop this as much as possible to get that super long ABC strut out of there. It's ridiculously long, so just keep that in mind. You do have to disconnect the sensor right here to drop it. I'm not going back to ABC. This person is not going back to ABC, so it's not important to keep that arm attached. So detach that arm right there so that the arm can drop, so that this lower control arm can drop. All right, reverse the process. I cut the ABC line right there. I don't give a crap. It was hard to disconnect. And also I remove the little drain plug right there, a little bleeder screw, so that whatever fluid is sitting here can just drip out. And whatever fluid, comes down through gravity will flow out, so it won't drip forever. All right, so that's what I did. So let me go ahead and measure these. So these are the rear. This is all a guessing game, guys. I have not installed these in a CL in years. So this S55, this is a guesstimate right here. So what I did was I spun the bottom all the way up to 2.5 from the lower locking nut or locking collar. It's 2.5 inches. It's hard. It's easier to see from this angle right there. That's 2.5. From the top of this body to the bottom of this is 2.5. All right. So I did the same thing. It's 2.5 right there. It's all about the angles, baby. Same thing on this one. 2.5 angle. There you go. 2.5. And we'll see how that turns out. So I did the same thing with the front 2.5 and the rear 2.5. Reduce this till there's 2.5 from here to here. And we'll see how that works. All right. Use this as a gauge. All right. This is how it turns out. Let me go ahead and install the one on the passenger side, then the driver's side, and we'll see how the car sits. All right. But that's the process. Don't forget to add these dampening dials in there before you reinstall them, because I'm not sure on this car if it's going to require you doing it beforehand, because you can't do it afterwards. So just go ahead and just put them in there. They do not hinder the installation, not one bit. So don't forget to pop those in place. These are 13mm nuts. I removed 13mm nuts. You can reuse them or use the new ones. They are equally wide, diameter wise. You can tell it's the same quality as what you remove. So I recommend you using the new ones. Why am I recording myself doing this? This is a waste of your time. All right, let me go ahead and get these installed, and then I'll show you the results, okay? Okay, so I did what, 2.5? Nah, whatever I did, that measurement is totally wrong. Yeah, I did 2.5. Nah, it's 7.5, guys. Do not listen to the earlier part of this video. 2.5, man. When the arm was fully, when the car was up in the air and the wheel was fully dropped once I assembled everything, there was almost no gap. In the air, it was like this, in the air, right? So imagine what it would be like when I dropped the car. The tire was all up in here. So, well, first of all, that was after I realized that 2.5 was not long enough. I put it to like 5 and it was still way up here, right? So 2.5 definitely, that's like not even, it's obviously not long enough. Not even close. 5 inches is not long enough. I did 7.5 inches, that space, that gap I was referring to. So measure that 7.5 inches and that'll get you right where it should be. About 2 fingers, which is about 1.5 inches height-wise, something like that. So 7.5 between here and here. So I have a lot of extending to do. We're talking about where it's currently at to where it needs to be. Crazy. Crazy. Let me just double check. I said 7.5. Let me just double check. So here I did it. 7.5 to the base. Boom. From here. All right. This came pre-tightened. I did not have to tighten it. Whoa. Whoops. This was already tightened. I can't even turn it by hand, so I'm gonna leave it, with the setting that it is. All right. So from there to there, and I already measured the total length compared to the other one, so they are tightened all equally. So yes, 7.5 from here to here. That's the measurement that I'm going with. All right. And it's done. I know it's nighttime and it's hard to see, but the car is sitting right. It's hard to see, but the car is sitting right. I also put some new fresh headlights in there. Hard to see that too, but they're clear, crystal clear. Now, these are the halogen style with the H7 bulb. These have to be upgraded using aftermarket HID kit with the ballast. You can see it a little bit on this side. Yep, they're sitting right. It's about 2 finger clearance. Looking nice. Looking nice. About a little bit over 2 on that one. Just like maybe 2 1/8 of an inch. This is nice. This is how you want your car to sit. Man, I wish I would have got this video taken during the day, but it's what it is. So yeah, the car is sitting nice and pretty, man. Yellow Speed Racing. Yellow Speed Racing. Coilover conversion is done. I removed the ABC fuels that needs to be removed, just the driver's side. Engine compartment, that gets rid of the red light. For those who don't know, the 2000 through 02 S-Class had rust issues. So if you ever see one of these W220 models with rust, it's usually a 2000 through 02. It develops rust along the bottom on many of these. Right there, quarter panel. It's hard to see it, but I think there might be a little spot down low, but I mean, it is what it is. These are still beautiful cars nonetheless. Same chassis, same body, but Mercedes realized that they were messing up with the rust protection. So like on the E-classes of those early 2000s, you also saw a lot of rust. So this is something to think about. If you're looking for a 2000 through 02 naturally aspirated AMG or S55, make sure you look for that rust. It's hard to find them without, especially if you're from up north, anywhere up north where there's a lot of salt on the road. It gets inside that wheel well and it gets behind there and it starts eating away. Any kind of road chips, make sure you touch it up with paint real quick. If not, it will rust. It doesn't have the rust inhibitor that they put in there on their bodies 03 through 06. So just keep that in mind. But it is still a very beautiful car. Very beautiful car. You can tell he loves it. All right, and so that's why he did the Yellow Speed Racing, because he wants to keep it on the road and out the shop. So good job, bro. Good job. Well done. Brandon Green, owner of Gold Element Autoworks. If you need help, let me know. I'm here. That's what I do. 513-967-8079. More to come.